Hundreds of scientists from around the world are gathering in Geneva to try and come up with a unified strategy on how to fight the coronavirus. It comes as Chinese officials say the coronavirus outbreak has now killed more than 1,000 people. In total, there are over 42,000 recorded cases, and the exact number of deaths caused by the virus now stands at 1,016 people in China. While the vast majority of cases are in mainland China, a total of 28 countries and territories have recorded infections. And the effect on business is ongoing. In Asia, 70 companies have pulled out of the Singapore Air Show. While keen to show that it is in control, the government in Beijing has removed several senior officials over their handling of the coronavirus outbreak.
Tonight, 2 police officers are recovering after a shootout at this Arkansas Walmart. One officer shot 4 times, the gunman killed by police. It's just the latest incident of violence directed at police. Today, an NYPD officer shot by a gunman over the weekend was released from the hospital. Police say the suspect opened fire on 2 officers sitting inside a police van in the Bronx, hitting the officer behind the wheel in the chin and neck. Then, less than 12 hours later, investigators say the same suspect started shooting inside a police station. Officers pinned down and arrested him when he ran out of bullets. 45-year-old Robert Williams is now facing several charges, including attempted murder.
The scale of the Equifax hack was staggering. 145 million Americans' names, birth dates, and social security numbers stolen. In some cases, driver's license and credit card information, too. Today, the Attorney General said forensics teams had traced the hack back to China, announcing indictments against 4 members of a Chinese military cyber unit called the 54th Research Institute, though the FBI concedes it's unlikely they'll ever face prosecution.
This theft not only caused significant financial damage to Equifax, but invaded the privacy of many millions of Americans.
It happened in 2017 after Equifax failed to patch a security flaw the government had warned about. Prosecutors say the Chinese team hid their tracks by using 34 servers in nearly 20 countries.
Using water cannon and tear gas to keep protesters back, security forces seal off the route to the parliament, ensuring lawmakers and ministers have a clear through path on the day of a key vote for the government. The vote of confidence comes as Prime Minister Hassan Diab attempts to introduce an emergency rescue plan aimed at improving the country's dire economic situation. Lebanon is one of the world's most heavily indebted states, with a debt ratio of more than 150% of GDP. Demonstrators blame the country's ruling elite for the economic crisis. Many see the entire political class as corrupt and incompetent, and want a new government of independent technocrats.
Hi everybody, it's Olivia Jade.
As recently as 5 days ago, Olivia Jade, whose famous parents are caught in the center of a sweeping college admission scandal, posted these pictures to Instagram of life returning to normal. But now, the former USC student is staring at a new layer of a deepening scandal. Prosecutors releasing this document in a court filing which they describe as a student profile. It appears to be about Olivia Jade, though the name is partially redacted. Prosecutors suggest it was created by a member of the USC athletic department. The bullet points, apparently portraying a litany of lies for a student authorities say never participated in crew. 2 gold medals at the San Diego Crew Classic, a 4th place finish at the head of the Lagoon Foster City and other competitions. Last month, Loughlin and her husband, fashion designer Massimo Giannulli, argued payments to get their daughter into USC were legitimate donations, not bribes.
This is what's left after a suspected rampage by the armed group Boko Haram in the Nigerian city of Maiduguri. Charred bodies and burnt vehicles. At least 30 people were killed while traveling overnight in the town of Auno on a major highway in Borno State. Witnesses say most of the victims were burnt to death while sleeping in their cars.
We were just sitting in the front seat of the car and heard them shouting, "God is great," and then the shooting began. They first killed a lady in the front seat of the car, and then we started running away. They also burned 2 babies and abducted a number of men and women.
The victims missed a 5 p.m. curfew to pass a gate leading to Maiduguri. They were forced to stay in Auno after the military reportedly shut the road.
The official count of who killed Malcolm X, it's not true.
An explosive new Netflix documentary casts doubt on the assassination of Malcolm X 55 years ago this month. Now, the Manhattan DA's office says it will begin a preliminary review of the matter, something that will determine what further investigative steps may be undertaken. Malcolm's family has always wanted to know more.
It's important to get answers about who gunned down my father.
In a brazen attack, Malcolm X was gunned down in front of his wife and children while giving a speech in Harlem.
We're brutalized because we are black people in America.
Malcolm became an even more controversial figure after his public falling out with the Nation of Islam.
I do believe there'll be attempts on my life.
Now, Pakistan is trying to make new friends with support from its iron brother China. Islamabad is courting Colombo. The Pakistani air chief was in Sri Lanka last week. He met with Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa of Sri Lanka, and this happened just before his visit to India. So what did the Pakistani air chief want? The Pakistani Air Force wants to quote-unquote help Sri Lanka. They want to train the Sri Lankan Air Force. We don't know if Colombo has accepted the offer, but Prime Minister Rajapaksa has reportedly acknowledged, and I'm quoting again, Islamabad's unwavering support in any hour of need.
Full to the brim. That's the unbelievable sight at some of Sydney's dams after our recent downpours. But despite the long-awaited top-up, there are now calls to increase water storage in our booming southwest to prevent another critical shortage.
The roar of rushing water, music to our ears. Liquid gold flowing into dams. For so long they've been so low, but are now finally looking healthy after a weekend deluge. Warragamba Dam now sitting at 69.3% capacity, up 26.4% in the past week. But while Warragamba supplies 80% of the city's drinking water, a network of much smaller dams supply Sydney's ever-growing southwest. They're filling up fast, but the Macarthur region's water woes aren't over.